Once upon a time, there was an Escapies podcast. And once upon a time, there was an intro song for said podcast.
Okay, so this is Escapies Podcast, episode 5. Perl is back today with us after grinding in the video game beta tester mines for the last week. She's risen from the dead.
I signed an
haircut,
NDA.
new personality, new NDA. Can't talk about it. So we got some stuff to talk about. Not a ton of comics news today. I browsed a bunch of the news sites. One thing to look out for, if this is the kind of thing that you're into, is Michael Bendis has announced his official return to the Avengers, which, depending on what you're into, might be super exciting, might be boring, and a return to the same old. I personally liked his run on the original New Avengers stuff that he did. I feel like weirdly, this is a contentious take. I liked his run. I think I enjoyed reading and sitting down with his run more than I enjoyed reading and sitting down with Hickman's New Avengers run, which I think is a hot take. I think Hickman's run is ultimately better and smarter and more complex, but if you asked me to curl up next to a fire with a New Avengers comic, it would be a Michael Bendis New Avengers comic. It's just fun. So I'm going to be picking up his Avengers, at least the first issue of his run. I don't know if I'll carry on afterward. He's super hit or miss, but looking forward to that. Other news, my House of Decline interview is up on comicsbeat.com. It's a really long, really good interview. Huge fan of it. Go read her comics, go read our interview. We talk about all sorts of stuff.
I love her so much.
Yeah, she's so good.
She brings me... If I'm scrolling through the Doom scroll and she appears, it makes everything better.
Seriously, right? We talk about Crazy Cat. We talk about print culture. We talk about Joe Biden and the
It's Jover.
octogenarian plague upon the Democratic Party. We talk all sorts of stuff, and it's a really good interview. You should go listen. In terms of shop news, this is not comics industry news, but it's shop news. We are currently missing our Marvel, IDW, and Dark Horse comics. They have not made it to us yet.
This is also West Coast news.
Yeah, I was about to say this is actually comic store news because everything in the West Coast, including states bordering the West Coast, so including Utah and Idaho and shit, all missing because of the we don't actually know that it was because of the UPS plane crash. That UPS didn't officially say that. They kind of, when we asked them why, they kind of just shrugged their shoulders and they're like, I don't know. We'll get them to you. Don't worry about it.
Did they just put everything on the semi-trucks and stop using planes? Because that would probably be the smart thing to do at this point.
That's probably what it was. Again, they haven't officially said this, but that's basic. We can fairly assume that's what happened, is when you have a
big plane crash
that kills 8 to 10 people and burns your
10
facility
at
down.
this point.
Yeah, it's when you have something that fucking hideous happen, it's you're gonna ground your flights, and all of the priority mail got thrown on the trains really quickly, so anything that wasn't priority probably is just
medium mail.
Medium, yeah. So I was gonna read Beneath the Trees, Where Nobody Sees, one of the top 5 single issue comics on the shelf right now, but unfortunately I will have to talk about that next week.
All right, the ETA is Thursday or Friday, theoretically.
Yeah, they say, with quotation marks.
Which is, this is the main reason why I think we don't have a true estimate, is they've been known to lie.
Yeah, many such cases.
Or at least be so wrong that it's indistinguishable from a lie.
This is a weekly problem for us at this point. It's so frustrating, not only to us, but all the customers who come in on Wednesday morning hoping to get that DC book that they really wanted. But, like, actually, we won't have it until next week. Want me to hold it for you?
And it's a totally reasonable expectation to get your new comics on New Comic Book Day, and the distributors are just, like, so fully dropping the ball. I think Diamond, not a great company, obviously. Much has been revealed about them, but the shift in the vacuum post-Diamond era has been interesting, to say the least.
It's changed everything.
Yeah.
Everything's different. Nothing will be the same.
It's weird because the tone of Diamond for a long time was like, you don't have anybody else, so like, fuck you. Well, we can do whatever we want. And now that there's now going to be 3 companies coming in January that's going to be distributing like Iron Circus. But
And they weren't great,
yeah,
but so far
yeah,
they're better than what we have currently.
yeah.
Which is saying something.
Yeah, when old Diamond is doing better than you're doing, like, you fucked up. And it's simultaneously like a combination of just like repercussions of the political environment, like fucking the mail getting fucked with by the Trump administration, and just like kind of all these plane crashes because of various like strikes and things like that. So if you want your comics in on time, you know what to do. I'm going to leave that one vague. But also, these companies don't give a fuck anymore, because now there's 2 companies that are like, you don't have anywhere else to go. The fuck are you going to do?
Anyway, enough of that industry downer. But yeah, if you're coming in excited for your new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic, or your new Fantastic Four comic, or whatever, just wait a couple days, or give us a call on Thursday or Friday, see if we've gotten them in, and then we'll get them to you as quickly as possible from there.
And if you're a subscriber, you will have them in your box as soon as they're in, so.
Never thought I'd miss the old Diamond.
I know.
I miss the old Kanye. Personally.
That was actually a really apt analogy, because, like, Kanye was always, like, a raging misogynistic homophobe, but then he got, like, way worse.
Yeah.
And Diamond was, like, always kind of dog shit, and now we're somehow way worse, and we're still missing the dog shit.
Yeah.
Pearl with the sharp, biting social commentary today.
Yeah, that's why they pay me the big bucks at the podcast.
See, you bring so much to this podcast.
So yeah, let's
I bring a lot to this podcast,
You do.
everybody.
I tell you this every time.
If ever you're in doubt, just remember Persephone's words about
Pearl,
how much I bring to this podcast,
the
which is a
only
lot.
You're the only person who's ever been in doubt about this.
Yeah. Our viewership numbers did drop by like 50% on the episode that you weren't on.
For real? Wow, I can't believe
Damn,
I can't believe how true that is. 50%? How many viewers do we even have? Like 3?
I don't know. I haven't looked. I'm scared.
One of them's your mom.
We're just like speaking into the void.
That was our podcast.
You gotta do that for a while. At least when
Love
we
you,
spoke
Mom.
into the void. When we spoke into the void on the last podcast, at least every once in a while a trans misogynist would show up and tell us we were very sexy.
Actually, you know what? We got a couple of like Pornsack Pichette Show responded to us.
Kyle Starks.
Kyle.
Don't forget Kyle Starks.
When I said sorry,
friend of the pod.
When I said Kyle Starks, they can't all be winners, Mr. Starks, and then he on Twitter was like, "But they were. This one is a winner." I was like, "Oh, sorry," and by sorry I mean I'm not. It wasn't a good book, but your other books are really good. Rock Candy Mountain, fire book.
Friend of the pod, Kyle Starks. We had Ben Passmore listen to an episode recently and respond to it.
We did.
I love that Ben Passmore responded to our podcast.
Yeah, he like listened to the episode long enough to have a direct, poignant response to what we talked about his book.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh, you actually listened to it. You didn't just like the fact that I tagged you. Which is what Dennis Camp's been doing, by the way. Engage, Dennis.
Dennis Camp, enemy of the pod.
Yeah. No, don't. That's
yeah,
not
no,
funny.
please. No, we love you, Dennis.
I
please.
love you, Dennis.
Dennis. Dennis.
Mr. Camp.
Let's you and I make a Martian Manhunter.
This is staying in the
I'm
podcast
manhunting
for-
Dennis Camp.
Okay.
This is staying in, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Most surely. So we've got a good little bunch of books to talk about on the podcast today. We've got a kind of novel book form that we have not really talked about, because I feel like we haven't really talked about a new manga on the pod yet.
I guess not really, yeah.
But I want to briefly talk about In the Twilight of Our Adolescence by Waka Hayashi. It's kind of this like really beautiful, very kind of quiet, understated, but very emotionally mature series of short stories. They're sort of, for the most part, they're romances set around what I think are kind of just late stage Japanese middle schoolers as they're like kind of transitioning into that melancholic period of life where you're self-aware enough to realize that you don't know who you are, but you have to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's increasingly been kind of a trend in a lot of contemporary manga discussing like what it's like being a young person in Japan and like the pressures of that. And I think you can kind of see that popping up in shonen manga and shoujo and all sorts of stuff. One of my favorite series, Bakuman, super directly engages with this. But this book is really special because I think it's one of the most interesting portrayals of young gayness, young homosexuality in Japan. It's like a 90-page story about just like two boys who become really close friends and like have really always admired each other from afar, without really realizing like what they're doing, or at least one of them doesn't really realize that he has romantic or sexual feelings for the other, and they develop a friendship kind of through radio, and it's like this very saccharine but in like a really wonderful way story. And then there's like a really lovely like kind set of scenes where their friends kind of accept them in like a really caring, loving way, which I don't think I've really is not something that a lot of BL manga like really engages with. I feel like a lot of the BL that I've looked at is this like weird sort of like blinders on approach to gayness in Japan, where it's like their homosexuality, their queerness is not acted upon by like homophobia in the world. Like it's a very kind of strange
what a fantasy.
Yeah, in like a really weird kind of not prescient way, you know?
Yeah.
And this I think is like really, it's not kind of a sob story about how hard it is to be gay in Japan, but it's more, I think, maybe not a realistic portrayal necessarily, but there's a lot of verisimilitude, I think, going on in the story, where you have the opportunity for just like really normal, nonchalant acceptance of gayness from a kid's friends, you know?
Yeah.
Which is, of course, something that can happen in Japan, as it can happen almost anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And it's got like a few other stories. Like there's a fun one about this girl who's like really shy, and she has like a total crush on this like hot dude who works in like a thrift shop or whatever, and she gets like this coat that she really likes, and it turns out like the coat is not like haunted, I guess maybe possessed is a better word, but it's possessed by a previous owner from like the Jazz Age,
That
like,
rips.
in Japan, and like the ghost like helps this girl gain like confidence to talk to this guy through like fashion and like through kind of just finding herself, and it's just really fun and interesting and weird, and like you don't really know if it's supernatural or not, or if she's just like got an imaginary friend. And the art's honestly pretty solid. Like I don't think it's anything to like super duper write home about, but I think it nails what it's going for, honestly. Like everyone's pretty cute. The like sort of natural curvature of everyone's lines and stuff is really, really fun and beautiful, and I'm a fan. Yeah, Twilight of Our Adolescence by Waka Hayashi just came in this week. We've got one copy. Come in, buy it, reminisce about the beauty of youth and love, and hopefully we order more copies because I think this is really lovely. But also we don't have room in our manga section, so I hope we don't.
Yeah, or come buy more manga so that we'll have room in the
Yeah.
manga section.
Come buy like all 40 volumes of Beastars that we have or something, you know?
If somebody would like to deposit our Attack on Titan volumes into a hole in the earth, please come do so.
Yeah, or like all of Assassination Classroom or something.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do like Assassination Classroom. It's just we have a lot of it and it doesn't sell really anymore.
Yeah. If you like JoJo's, like I like JoJo's, like we all like JoJo's, please come buy our JoJo's.
Never
We
heard
have
of
so
it.
much.
We've got a wall of JoJo's.
Mm-hmm. You could Cask of Amontadillo us with the JoJo's volumes that we have.
And it would work because they're all hardcover.
Banging on the JoJo's
Yeah.
volumes.
My ass would be stuck.
But that said, this seems really cute. I might actually check it out. Honestly, I really like the ghost of a jazz musician. Japanese jazz fucking rocks, and I just love that this jazz ghost, who may or may not be real, gives her confidence.
She's like not even a jazz musician. She's just like a Japanese flapper.
Yeah.
Like from pre-war Japan. And she talks in like a total like flapper dialect. Anyway, great book, very fun.
That rips.
Really quick read. I just like read it on the train ride into the city. Big fan. I think Persephone, you had a really fascinating book artifact that you wanted to talk about.
Oh.
From a certain Fletcher Hanks.
Certain Fletcher Hanks, yeah. I'm still... Okay, so for context, this is called Turn Loose Our Death Rays and Kill Them All. This is a collection of 40s quote-unquote outsider artist Fletcher Hanks' work from that period of time. Very weird, very much like what if Superman crumpled gangsters up like cans of soda, and a big-boobed woman like killed British colonizers by peeling off her face. It's, you know, it's pretty like traditional like Silver Age stuff, like, but during kind of the Golden Age time, which is kind of interesting. I'm still kind of working my way through a lot of the comics. I don't have a ton to say about the comics yet because I'm not that far in. What I do have to say about is the essays at the beginning. And I think something that's really interesting is one of the essays is like, so Fletcher Hanks is called an outsider artist. Is he an outsider artist? No, not really. He was an insider who worked on the assembly line, who was a violent alcoholic who just happened to be weird. Like, and I think that's maybe like endemic of a lot of like outsider comics men. I think is like a lot of these guys are not necessarily outsiders. They're just violent alcoholics who are a little bit weird with it. You know, and I think that's okay. Like, I think, well, okay, being a violent alcoholic who, you know, kicked your son down a flight of stairs when he was 4, which is crazy that they just dropped that right at the end of one of the essays. They're like, yeah, and you know, when he kicked one of his sons, a 4-year-old, down a flight of stairs, and I'm like, that's a crazy thing to just leave an essay off on. But I think there's just kind of an interesting point in there about, like, the idea of the outsider artist and how often the image of the outsider artist is really just like a violent man with a substance abuse problem, and maybe like we can reconcile the like difference between like maybe he's not an outsider, but that doesn't mean the work is not interesting. We can also just agree that people are like complicated and fucked up, but also like, I don't know, maybe a guy who worked on the assembly line with Will Eisner is not an outsider.
I think that weird like outsider artistification of people happens a lot when people who are not familiar with sort of manga history talk about Gekiga artists. Because I think you've got a lot of Gekiga artists who are incredibly popular at the time that they were publishing stuff. I mean, not wealthy, but well-known manga artists like Shigeru Mizuki, Yoshihiro Tatsumi, the guy who did fucking Screwhead. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Not off the top of my head. No pun intended.
Yoshiharu Tsuge is who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like these pretty foundational figures in Japanese manga history who were just like dudes making contemporary adult fiction and manga. And I think Americans kind of read this work, and because it's so distinct from like a Jack Kirby Stan Lee superhero comic from like 60 years ago or whatever, assume that like a Yoshiharu Tsuge story must have been super out of this world and weird, but like he was really well circulated, you know? I mean, I even think like in the US referring to like Robert Crumb or something as an outsider artist is like iffy at the very least, because he was like internationally circulated, you know? I mean, he was criminalized, but at the same time, like, he was one of the most well-known contemporary artists of the time.
Yeah.
So
he was a guy that liked to beat off. Like, that's not weird. That's pretty, like, he's a guy who liked to write about beating off. Like, I don't think that's necessarily makes you an outsider inherently.
yeah, and he was definitely a weirdo.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and those are different things.
Yeah.
Being a weirdo, and that's what, like, Fletcher Hanks is a weirdo. Like, Fletcher Hanks is, like, very clearly, like, a very weird man who, like, devoted all of his time that wasn't devoted to beating his family and drinking to, like, doing these very weird stories.
Alright, this is the end of episode 5.1. We mostly talk about new books / novels and stuff, and a little bit of news on this episode. If you want to hear more about our monthlies, the floppies that we're excited about that came out on Wednesday, go ahead and jump over to episode 5.2 and enjoy. Thanks for listening.